Okay. Good evening. Let's turn down the music just a smidge. I'll leave that to Lorna. She knows that system. I'm still learning. Okay. Thank you so much for coming to the Mills Brothers mural dedication. My name is Stacy Roth. If I have not met you, I'm the new executive director for Main Street Piqua, and I've got some big shoes to fill, but we've been doing a great job this year. And I want to thank everybody for coming, especially some of the people here. We've got Tom from the city, Piqua City Commissioners, Tom and Frank, and Paul, our city manager. Okay, yes, thank you all so much. And so I want to hand this over to the biggest friends of Main Street Piqua that we could possibly have, Ruth Kuhn and Lorna Swisher.
So in my new job, I don't care about weather anymore. Isn't that ironic? So thank you again all for being here. We certainly appreciate you being here. This huge turnout is honestly why we do projects like this in Piqua, because this is such an important community. We have such important history that we need to celebrate, and we really want to thank everybody for being a part of this and being with us today. Projects like this do not happen without, quite frankly, a lot of money. So I want to just take a moment to thank our very, very generous sponsors and donors for this project, because that's honestly what allowed us to do it. I'd like to thank the Piqua Community Foundation. Colette Hiddle is the executive director. The Miami County Foundation, and Lisa Sargent is here, so thank you, Lisa, for being here. We also received a generous donation from the Niles and Ruth Lungard Trust, the Jacob G. Schmidlap Trust, the Duke Foundation. We also kind of seeded this project with a donation from the Piqua Historical Society. Jim Oda is here, so thank you for that. But as Piqua steps forward, it always comes to fruition that when we ask this community for something that's important, they step up. Just like they did for the Fort Piqua Plaza and all the other projects in our community, this mural was important and donors stepped forward, and we really want to thank you all so much for your dollars and your time and your energy. And we absolutely loved seeing all the Facebook posts and how everybody was so excited about this project coming to fruition. So all of that is so, so important. This project would not have been possible without the support of the Main Street Piqua board. We have several board members in the room today. When Ruth and I said we wanted to do this project, we absolutely got full support from the Main Street Piqua board and the Main Street Piqua Beautification Committee, both of which endorsed it through Friends of Main Street. And a special shout out to Stacy, who has, quite frankly, when we swooped in, said we're going to do this big mural and we're going to spend a lot of money on a wall in downtown Piqua, and Stacy said, okay. So thank you, Stacy, for trusting us and believing in us. We appreciate that. But most importantly, I want to do a big shout out to Ruth, my cohort in crime. And any of you who've worked with Ruth know that when Ruth sets her mind to it, it's going to happen. So this project is absolutely because of Ruth's energy and time. And so as she comes up to speak, if we could just give Ruth a round of applause. Thank you.
That was not part of the script. Well, this is, as Lorna said, such an exciting project. I will tell you this, because I think this is so interesting before I begin my remarks. The muralist said that Piqua was such a unique community because so many people would come into the parking lot, stop and chat with them. The cars that would go by would honk their horns, people would be waving at them. In fact, the day after they left, I texted one of the muralists and said, it's like we've lost one of our people here in Piqua because they were so important to us. You know, Piqua has been very proud of a number of our great people who have been born and raised here. Many of them we have statues. It's William Hitzbarger, Don Gentili, William McCall. But tonight it is all about these true music legends, the Mills Brothers. Lauren and I have been thinking and planning about this tribute for years, but in 2024 it has become a real reality. And it's unbelievable to think about. Their first professional performance was 1924, which was 100 years ago. Isn't that amazing? And the other great thing about this mural, it's right around the corner from where we performed at the Mays Opera House. Okay, now I went completely off of my scripts and I'm all thrown off. The Mills family they were still in Piqua. They had 7 children, 4 boys and 3 girls. They all attended Spring Street School. They sang together at the AME Church, which is still standing at the corner of Ash and Downing Streets, and is surrounded now by our new YMCA. The 3 girls, Pauline, Margaret, and Dorothea, did not sing professionally with their brothers, but they sang within the church. The 4 brothers, Harry, Herb, John Jr., and Don, performed for the first professionally in 1924, as I told you, at Mays Opera House. The Mills brothers were known then as 4 boys and a kazoo. The night of their first professional performance at the Mays Opera House, Harry forgot his kazoo, and so he cupped his hands over his mouth, and out came the sound of a trumpet. That was the beginning of the instrumental sounds that the Mills brothers created. They also provided flawless harmonies. The oldest brother, John Jr., passed away at age 25, and the Mills brothers' father stepped in and performed with them for over 20 years. They reached the pop charts 70 times over a 37-year period, behind only Louis Armstrong and Frank Sinatra. Isn't that amazing? They had 2,000 recordings, sold over 50 million records. When Tiger Rag made #1 on the pop chart, the Mills brothers were the first vocal group to have 1 million copy recorded. They also performed all over the world. They had command performances at Palladium in London. They performed at many state dinners at the White House. They received a Lifetime Achievement Award from Ebony magazine, also from the National Academy of Arts and Sciences, the Grammys. They have a star on Hollywood's Walk of Fame. They were inducted into the Vocal Group Hall of Fame. How fortunate Piqua is to say that the Mills brothers started their career here. Aren't we just so fortunate? It's amazing to Warren and I that we haven't done this before. However, Warren and I saw this brick building over here with this beautiful brick wall and started visualizing years ago that maybe we could do a mural there. I'm going to tell you a little bit about our wonderful partner. Today, however, we have some really special guests. They are 2 of the members of the Mills family. I told you to begin with that there were 4 boys and 3 girls. One of the girls, Dorothea, her daughter is here today. This is Joyce Hassel. She's 95 years old. And along with Joyce is her daughter, Kim. And Kim is the one. We could not have done this without Kim because when we met with Kim and Bill Fountain, Warren and I, we had the drawing of the mural that we had, the muralist had completed for us, and we showed it to her, and she looked at it and kind of hesitated and said, "Where's Johnny?" where, well, Johnny was the young man who died at 25. So when Lauren and I put the mural together, it was only 3 boys, Gary, Herb, and Don, and their father. So we get back in the car and think, oh Lord, how much is this going to cost us? We've got to redo the mural. But our artists were wonderful about that. So that's why it's the 4 boys and their father who are in the mural. And I think we made the wisest decision because of Kim. Thank you, Kim. Well, and then as I said, we had our eye on this great brick wall, and it belonged to Park National Bank. So our next feat was to meet with John Brown, who's the regional president of Park National Bank, and Doug Franklin, he was the administrative manager of their facilities. They were so gracious to Lauren and I, thank goodness, because we could not have done this without their okay to use that wall, and encouraged us, and so we moved forward with it. I will also say this, that Doug Franklin was a major part in making this successful. He was kind of like the muralist assistant, and anything they wanted or needed, he got for. Anything Lauren and I needed, Doug would get for us, so thank you especially to Doug. Chad Henry is the city planner, and he was the one who guided us through many, many meetings with this is not an easy thing to do. I think Lauren and I attended at least 8 meetings. That included staff meetings with the city, which was perfectly fine. We had to get the okay, we had to get our licenses. We met with committees, we met with the diversity committee. They were very encouraging to us. So thank you to Chad Henry. And especially, we want to thank Commissioner Frank DeBross, and he knows why. Our city manager, Paul Oberdorfer, thank you, Paul. Assistant City Manager Amy Welker, and of course, the Public Works and Streets Department of our city, because they saved the day. I don't know if I should tell you this, so anybody who likes trees, don't get upset. There were some trees that were obstructing the view of this beautiful mural, and they were the ugliest looking trees I've ever seen. So Lauren and I, every time we would go and look at it, if we could just get rid of those 4 trees. And here comes the Public Works and Street Department, and those 4 trees are gone. However, the city is going to replant 4 trees someplace else in another park, so everything is fine. But now we can really see the mural. And we also are very fortunate in our community to have professional people. Brian Quinter, Creative Signs, he's an award-winning sign creator. Put the temporary sign up, put the permanent sign up, so I hope you'll all go and see the permanent sign that's on the mural now. We want to thank also Brian Brothers Painting and Midwest Maintenance. 2 people who really played a big role in this were Don and Sue Smith. They hosted the 2 artists for the 5 weeks they were here in their lovely home on Green Street. So thank you, Don and Sue. Now I'm going to get back with Lauren. It was my pleasure to serve with Lorna. I don't know if you all remember, Lorna was our Main Street Director for 27 years. She has many friends in this community and would not leave until this was completed. So thank you, Lorna, it's my pleasure. And finally, there are 2 very, very special people in this room. They're superheroes. They don't wear caps, but one wears a white hoodie and one wears a black hoodie. Our superheroes are our muralists, our artists, Michael Boudreau and Chris Daniels. Stand up so everybody can see. They are as nice as they are talented, and we're just so thankful that we found both of you. So I hope all of you are going to enjoy this beautiful mural for years to come. It is so spectacular and something that we probably were remiss in not doing years ago. But let's not think about that part of it. Let's think about, as we look over there, and every time we pass. You all made this happen. So on behalf of Lauren and I, thank you so much. if you all want to have any conversation with the Mills family, they'd love to talk to you, and they're both delightful people. Oh, are they nice things? All right.
So I'm Michael Boudreau, and this is Chris McDaniels, Artisan Rooms. We just wanted to say we were so honored to be asked to do this. And I am so taken by your faces because we've been studying your family's faces for so long, and I totally see them in your faces. It's so true. Oh my gosh, it's amazing. So this was an honor to do this, and we thank you for letting us do this for you. And this is probably one of the most moving projects we've had. I started this business in 1996, so we worked in $1 million mansions and public works projects, but this was special, and this really touched our hearts tremendously. And we just wanted you to know that. And from being out there in the lift in the hot sun and having people beep at us and give us thumbs up, and having people come up to us and grab us by the hands and cry and say, "This has been a long time coming. Thank you, thank you, thank you." It made us cry. It was special, and I could retire now and say this is great.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm just going to add to that. I will tell you from my own perspective, I think we went through maybe 20 revisions on that design when she was talking about when we added the fifth member and stuff like that. And I tend to do more of the designing and working in my studio, and I had not heard of the Mills Brothers. And we have our workload of jobs, and they're coming through the pipeline, and I'm designing this one, and I'm designing that, and Mike and I are doing remote meetings. And then it wasn't until I got on the site that I started to dive into the history of the Mills Brothers. And oh my goodness. And I myself am a musician, and my stepfather, who is no longer with us, was a piano player, and his specialty was the American songbook, you might say. Scott Joplin, guys like that. And he never mentioned the Mills Brothers, but I guarantee you, had he been alive today, this would have been really important to him. And a piece of Americana, and I cannot tell you, we would be up in the bucket and turn around and there would be 2 or 3 people almost every time with the cameras up. Like he said, we've worked in NFL players at mansions and NASCAR drivers and celebrities and $1 million mansions and bars and restaurants and all these kind of things, and we've done hundreds of murals, but the meaning behind this and the honor of immortalizing I keep digging deeper into their history, and I get more excited about them. And everybody's getting bored of me rattling off 2,000 recordings, 3 dozen world records, Louis Armstrong. It's just so cool. They were rock stars or a boy band before those terms even existed, okay? So my education, and I'm listening to the Mills Brothers, and by the way, I'm driving along and I'm listening and I'm hearing a horn section. I'm like, wait, is that a horn section? And then I go on YouTube, no, that's not a horn section. That's them imitating horns. So anyway, I'm done rambling, but I do want to say thank you to Ruth and Lorna so much for giving us this honor, for selecting us to do this. I want to thank Don and Sue, of course, such generous hospitality. They could not have been more wonderful. And I think we've got kind of a little thank you gift for them here in a little bit. But I want to thank, there's a fella, he's got one first name, but I kind of gave him a second first name. when I first met him, he said, "My name's Doug, but if you need anything, you just go, 'Hey, Doug.'" So that became his name. So, hey, Doug, I don't see him. There he is. Hey, Doug. And he brought her here to us. Thank you. And by the way, all of you have been so wonderful to us. This city is so fantastic, and we are just, our hearts are bursting with gratitude, and we love you all. Thank you so much.
Thank you all so much for coming. Again, if you would like to talk to the Mills Brothers family or the artist, go and get your picture taken with the mural, pictures with the family or the artist. Feel free to do so. And then don't forget to shop and eat downtown.